Hello and welcome to Physics Teacher. In this video, I'm going to go over one of the labs I do with my grade 11 physics class where we measure the coefficient of friction, both static and kinetic, between different materials. And did you know it's as simple as measuring the slope of an incline? How does that work? Let's figure this out first, and then we'll test some materials. All right, so if you have a mass on an incline at some angle theta, we have some forces on it. We have gravity, which I'm going to call mg. We have the normal force, which is perpendicular to that surface. And then we have friction, frictional force. And we can alternate that between static and kinetic depending on the problem. Now, before I start analyzing this picture, we need a coordinate system. So I'm going to choose a coordinate system that is along the incline. So along the incline will be our positive x, and perpendicular to that will be our positive y. Okay, now this coordinate system makes it easier because friction is along x, normal is along y, so we only need to break gravity up into components like so, where this angle here is equivalent to that angle there. Now we can analyze the forces with Newton's second law. Let's start with our x direction. So we're going to do the sum of all forces in x, or F net in x, is equal to mass times acceleration. Now for our scenario, we are going to set acceleration equal to 0. Because experimentally what we're going to do is lift the incline until just before it starts to move. If you can lift the incline just before it starts to move, you're testing the maximum value of static friction. If you have the object sliding down the incline at a constant velocity, which also means acceleration is 0, then you're testing the value for kinetic friction. So in x, we have this component of gravity. Okay? To figure that out, we're going to use some trig ratios for a right angle triangle. If I do the sine of theta, that equals, let's call this x and y. So that equals x over, so opposite over hypotenuse, which is mg. So the x component is mg times the sine of theta. So let's write that in. mg sine theta. And it has a positive value since it's in our positive direction. These are vectors. Next, we have friction, which has a negative value, so minus friction, and that equals 0. So rearranging, bringing friction to the other side, we know friction is equal to mg sine theta. The equation for friction is mu times Fn. And again, you can change that to mu s or mu k, depending on whether or not you have the object just starting to move or moving at a constant velocity. But we'll do that in our experiment later. And that equals to mg sine theta. But what is Fn? To figure that out, we're going to have to analyze our y component. So we'll do the sum of all forces in y equals to, again, mass times acceleration. But that's going to be 0, because acceleration in this component is also 0, because we don't want the object flying off the ramp for some reason. That's not going to happen. So we have the normal force in our positive direction, and this component of gravity. If we analyze that, cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, mg. So cross multiply, y equals mg cos theta. So normal force minus, because it's in our negative direction, mg cos theta equals 0. So if I bring this term to the other side, then we know that the normal force equals mg cos theta. So let's plug that in here. So we have mu times Fn, which is mg cos theta equals mg sine theta. Well, mass cancels, gravity cancels, and if we divide by cos, we get mu equals to sine theta over cos theta, which, using trig identities, is equal to tan theta. Now, if we have an incline, like so, let me redraw the incline. Say we have this incline, and that's theta. This would be height, length, and simply tan theta is opposite over adjacent, or rise over run, and that is the slope. So to figure out what mu is, all we need to do is find the slope. So let's go test out something. You'll see what I mean. All right, so we have different materials here. We have sandpaper, we have duct tape, insulation, wood, and plastic. We're going to test them all on this piece of wood here. Now, to find the coefficient of static friction, let's start with sandpaper. We're simply going to lift until just before it starts to move. Right there. Now we need to find the length and the height. So we can do find the slope, height divided by length, and that's the coefficient of static friction. So I'm going to place some rulers here. And at 1 meter length, we have a height of 49 centimeters. So that's almost 50. So that would mean the coefficient is pretty close to 0.5. Now, kinetic friction is a little different. You want to lift it so that it starts moving, but then you want to lower it. Don't make it stop, but you want it to stop accelerating. Get it moving at a constant velocity. That way acceleration equals 0, and you can figure out what that slope is to find kinetic friction. Give it a little push to get over static friction. That's pretty good. And usually I have students do this in partners or in threes. It's a little bit harder to do by yourself, but at a length of 1 meter, you have a height of 47 centimeters. So the coefficient's a little bit lower, which is what it should be. Okay. One common mistake students typically do is they measure the length of the actual plank, and they use that for L, but it won't be. Okay, because depending what your incline is, the length of the plank is actually your hypotenuse. Now I could measure the incline from here, or from here, or from here, or from here. You'll get the same slope, whatever L or H you use, because it'll be the same ratio. They're similar triangles. I like to use right at 1 meter. It's just a little bit easier for me, as long as it doesn't go higher than that, which typically it does not. All right, let's try some other objects. I will tell you what the measurements are, and you can tell me what the coefficients are. Let's go to duct tape. So we'll start with static. Right there. So at a length of 1 meter, we have a height of about 38.5 centimeters. Now let's try kinetic. So it's always a little bit more challenging. I think that's pretty perfect. So at 1 meter length, we have a height of 31 centimeters. Let's test plastic on wood. So we'll start with static. Ooh, this one's very low. So at a length of 1 meter, we have a height of about 28 centimeters. Let's try kinetic. Oh, I brought that up perfectly. Okay, so the length of 1 meter, we have a height of 20 centimeters. Or sorry, 20 and a half, 20.5 centimeters. Let's try wood on wood. First, static. About here. So length of 1 meter, we have a height of 42 centimeters. Grab that, and we will try kinetic now, the coefficient of kinetic friction. It's hard to tell, but let's go with about here. 22 centimeters. Insulation. Ooh, this one's pretty big. All right. That almost made it to the end. So a length of 1 meter, a height of about 67 centimeters. So far, I think this one has the highest coefficient there. Let's see if we can get a kinetic value. I think that's pretty good. A height of 51 centimeters. All right, what haven't we tried yet? Oh, I know. We haven't tried a shoe. Let's try my shoe. Let's see if my shoe has better friction, better grip than insulation. Here we go. Come on, keep going. Ooh, maybe not. 60 centimeters. Well, let's see. Hold on. Oh. 67 centimeters. All right, pretty good grip there. Kinetic friction will be a little bit harder. I think that's pretty good. I realize this data is not perfect because I'm shaking a bit, but about 66. All right. Put my shoe back on. I hope you enjoyed that lab. Let me know which had the most friction, which had the least friction, what your values are, and if you have any questions in the comments. Also, if you want a copy of the course pack that I use with all the lessons and notes for the grade 11 university physics class, you can download that for free using the link in the description.